welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, David.
First question is always the easiest. What's your name and what's your company name?
All right, so I am Kate Withers, or Kate Withers Hess, and my company is Part Runner Ontario Inc. So we go by Part Runner.
Great. What does your company do?
So we've been building an on-demand heavy truck services platform, and it's geared toward the construction industry. And so that's what we've built, and that's what we're growing at the moment.
Awesome. How long have you been around, the company?
So we established it in 2017. We all had our full-time jobs back at the time, and so we've been building it over time. And so we've also, my co-founder and myself, so there's 4 of us in the mix, but 3 working on it actively. And we've had 2 children with us, born since 2017, and so we're managing the startup as well as those responsibilities. But we're building something that's sustainable and something that has really good footing, so that when we do ramp it, it's sustainable and ready for growth. And so we're reaching that point now and looking forward to the future.
Awesome. Why does the company exist, or put another way, what's the problem that you're trying to solve with the company?
All right. So we're trying to alleviate the pain points that we feel construction companies are experiencing on the job site. So there's a lot of technology that's looking at IoT and 5G and smart helmets and things like that. But really, at the end of the day, they're having a lot of trouble just figuring out, how do I get equipment moved from A to B, from one site to another job site? How do I get this part picked up from the dealership? And then maybe they own a couple dump trucks and they just really need a few more in a pinch that day. And so we're finding that they're having difficulty sometimes sourcing those people if they don't really have them in their Rolodex ready. And then even if you do find someone that's going to move heavy equipment for you, it often can take multiple phone calls trying to find it, get a quote, procure it, secure it, and then all of a sudden you think you're set to go, and then they pull out at the end of the day. And so we want to find ways to just alleviate the stresses that are felt on the job site and just bring some more efficiency to it if we can.
Awesome. And just so I'm clear, it's a software platform that people can or mobile app, or what is it that the construction companies, if you're using it on the site and you do need a resource like something as large as it sounds like a truck even, how would they go about servicing that using your platform?
Okay, excellent question. So we've tried to build it for, again, maximum efficiency. So we would hope that the person on site could just open up their mobile phone, and then they would access it through a web app. So we don't have a dedicated iOS or Android app built out, but it looks and feels like an app. It's very sort of native feeling. And so you would just be able to open it in the field, and it's a dashboard. And you can actually facilitate both sides of the transaction. So if you are requesting trucks, you can use that dashboard. And at the same time, you might be sending out trucks at the same time. And so it's all built in one easy to use mobile device on your device.
Awesome. Yeah, my perspective on it is that unless you need the app store for distribution, the app is, especially for a startup, is a nice to have, not a need to have. So I'm glad you guys are kind of doing that from the optimal perspective. I think that makes sense. A lot of people kind of jump to the app, but I actually think my perspective is you can do the MVP on the web, and with today's HTML5 technology, it works just as well as a web app. And I assume you have the desktop ability as well with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's compatible on desktop as well.
Cool.
So that's actually important, because in some cases it's people in the back office that are doing a lot of the ordering and worrying about the logistics. In some cases it is just solopreneur out in the field, or both. So we built it with that in mind.
Awesome. What's your background? How did you get into this line of work and starting this company?
All right. Well, I'm actually a trained agronomist. So I went to the University of Guelph and specialized in soil science and crop ecology. And I went on to Michigan State, so did a lot of work with all the agronomy crops that we're familiar with here in Ontario and Michigan, and also focused on perennial grasses. And then came back to Ontario to do my PhD at the Ontario Agricultural College, and worked with the Ontario Biomass Producers Cooperative. So the idea is, can we grow this crop? Can we reduce the risks in it? Can we develop sort of a novel cropping system for the grass itself, and work on breeding genetics, and then also just look at a market and finding ways to build contracts in for these producers. So that's where I really got focused on the juncture of academia, industry, and government, all sort of working together to try and put these things together. And so then I went to work with Ontario Centers of Excellence, working with a lot of startups. I focused a lot on advanced manufacturing companies, as well as tech startups, SaaS, marketing technology. And so really enjoyed that, and then got to work on this problem with my co-founders, who are my sister and brother-in-law, to alleviate some of the pain points they were experiencing. But I have a very fond spot in my heart for ag tech, and I'd like to get back there someday. And I think there's a lot of applicability with PartRunner in the agricultural services industry as well. So we're not leaving that off the table.
That makes sense. Apologies if you hear my little ones in the background. It seems
Likewise.
to be it's the time of day that it's recording at 3:45 on a Friday is when we're recording this, and I guess it's magic hour for them. They were quiet 20 minutes ago. Why did you want to start your own business or get involved in the business?
Well, while I was at the Ontario Centres of Excellence, I got to work with a lot of entrepreneurs building their companies from scratch, startups, scale ups, and also even with more established companies that were looking to bring in, let's say, IoT or more advanced manufacturing practices to what they were doing. And so I really got to see what they were going through, but I really got a taste. And I realized I've always been entrepreneurial from the beginning, and I really wanted the chance to build something that was my own and build a company with a team. And so I like to think that I've looked at all the companies I have advised and that I continue to advise, and I'm trying to build something that is really mitigating risks. I'm trying to build something that can be quite profitable right from day one, and that doesn't necessarily have to be venture backed. We're trying to see, can we bootstrap it? Can we focus on revenue? So I've tried to take a lot of the lessons I've learned from working with those entrepreneurs and apply it to what I've built. And I think I'd like to really maybe one day get into investing or actually advising companies myself. And I think having built something from scratch and really being able to put my name on something that was able to grow and to generate revenue and then go on to be something else would be good to be able to put my name behind.
Awesome. That's great. Last question before the lightning round is, do you think it's important to be part of a network like RIT Online? And if so, why?
Okay, this is a very good question. So I work closely with a lot of the regional innovation centers in Ontario and a lot of the incubators and accelerators, and I've applied for a few as well to see really who would be a good fit for us to work with going forward. And for my co-founders, it's very important that we find a group of people that can help us that's complementary to what we already have going for us in terms of our strengths. And so when I've spoken to Brian and to Joe, they really talk about helping us build like a book of due diligence, so that at the end of the day, whether we go public or get investment or we're acquired by somebody, we're able to have confidence in handing over something that is robust from maybe a software standpoint. The books are there, the financial projections are explainable, things like that. And so we really think that this is a team that can, push us, because I think in talks we've had so far, they've said things that I've needed to hear and maybe sometimes wouldn't have heard other places. And so and I also think in terms of this whole COVID-19 thing upon us, all of a sudden, all of these accelerators were forced to go remote, and all of them knew which companies they had been looking after or had in their prospects beforehand. And so for me, it was, which of the accelerators are really going to reach out and continue on with that same service offering that they had been, leading with. And so I really saw that in RH Accelerates, that continuity of service and dedication. And so that's what's really attracted me to RH Accelerator, and that's what I hope we can continue to work on.
Great. Yeah, it was. We realized that there was a lot of entrepreneurs without an ecosystem. That's kind of why we decided to open it up to everyone, and so far it's been going great. And you're one of our top contributors, so thanks for being part of the network. We appreciate it. I think eventually it'll be contributions from peers that will be just as valuable as anything we could post. So keep up the good work there.
Yeah.
All right, now it's the lightning round.
Okay, lightning
question.
round.
Married or single?
I am married to my high school sweetheart, and we have 4 children.
Nice. Yeah. What ages?
We have a 6.5-year-old, 4, 2.5, and a 4-month-old baby.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Mars bars or Snickers?
Snickers. The peanuts are like, carry you a little further.
Nice. Favorite movie?
Ooh. Favorite movie. I like that movie Magnolia a long time ago with Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Favorite book?
That'd be, I like Deepak Chopra's book. So one of them read a long time ago is The Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire. and I really like that one very much.
Awesome. Let's check that one out. Favorite game or video game?
I don't game. I'm right now trying to segue my son into Fortnite, and it's a very scary process. But I used to play back when I was his age, and so I'm trying to remember that.
Nice. Favorite vacation spot?
Ooh. You know, lately it's Mount Tremblant for winter skiing.
Awesome. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No, that debate rages in my house, but not in my opinion.
All right. Last question. You're banished to an island and can take only one thing with you, and not people. Only one thing with you. What is that thing?
All right. I think it would have to be like a fully decked out Swiss Army knife.
I think it's a very logical answer. Well, great. Thanks for joining us today, and appreciate you taking the time.
All right. My pleasure, David. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.